Alright, so in today's tutorial we're going to talk about a project called Solo Houses, designed by Makoto Takei and Chi Nebishima. They are TNA architects, and this was actually just a conceptual project located in the mountain terrain in eastern Spain. It's called Matarrana, and basically here we will go over some of the principles, how we can model this structure, and how we can actually implement the knowledge from T-splines, how we can create a terrain, and how we can create these kind of truncated pyramids, and get this geometry model. So let's import some of these images into our viewport, just to get a better idea of what we're gonna do. So first thing I'm gonna import the section U here, and I will use this later on to create my pyramid. So now I'm gonna basically create from here. I have the option to create a pyramid. You can see there, and here you have the options of number of sides. So in my case, I want to have 4 sides for the pyramid, and I want to create a solid, so you want to have this as a yes. So I'm just gonna draw it out now, like this, and later on we will modify it. So let's say that this is my pyramid. Let's rotate it like so, and from here on we can actually go to the top, and let's rotate this guy. You can see now here that the gumball actually has a different kind of orientation. So if I want this green axis to match my green axis on my Rhino viewport, what I can do, I can type Gumball Alignment, and I can say the world, and you will see that it will change automatically. So that's quite useful when you want to rotate it. So for example, I want to rotate this -90, and let's rotate it in this direction 180, like so. So I'm gonna go to the top, and here I will just drag it, and I want to basically use my solid points, and I'll just use it as a guide here. Let's go to the wireframe so we can get a better idea of how we're doing it, and let's say that this is approximately right. And now I know that this will be my pyramid. So let's rotate all of this 90 degrees, like so. And now let's start with creating this terrain. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna actually just draw out this line, so I have it as a reference in the model. It doesn't mean that we will use this line, but it's nice to have it as a rough estimate of what terrain would look like. So I'm just gonna follow here the path of the slope, and later on we're gonna use T-splines to actually create it. So let's say that this is my line, and then I'm happy with it. So right now what I can do, I can just let's say extrude it, so that I have a better idea of how my terrain would look like. And then I can actually use the reference geometry from this image to get it right. So I'm gonna import now this base plan, so that I can get my base plan right as well. So I'm gonna just drag it here, and once I have that, I will actually extend it. But before doing that, you will notice that now this is not proportional, and we want to have it in the same proportion. So what we can do now here is just measure it to see what the measurement here is. So let's rotate this line there, and now I'm gonna just drag it and have it positioned, or actually I can use scale 1D. That's the same. So use scale 1D to get the proportions exactly the same. So we have the rectangle in that position. And I'm gonna go on top, and I'm gonna just try to match here the proportions of my pyramid with this drawing. So you can see that the drawing is actually bigger, so we need to make it smaller so that we get the correct scale. And the whole reason why I'm doing this is to get the actual steps here. I want to use them, so I want to have this proportion correct. So let's say that this is my correct position. So in this case, I'm gonna just hide this now. I'm gonna lock it, and I'm gonna draw out these rectangles. So I'm gonna just draw out one, and then I will use it basically to position it correctly here in the drawing. So you don't need to do this precisely, but here I just wanted to show you how we can actually translate this later on onto our terrain. So as you can see here, I'm just copying it with Alt. I'm holding Alt and I'm dragging my mouse. I can also extend it here a little bit, and I'm gonna do this for all of them, and then we are going to create the second area. All right, so once I have these lines, I'm happy with how they turned out. So now we're gonna do we're going to unlock this, and as you can see, I'm gonna now unhide my terrain and my pyramid there. So right now I'm going to use some of the images here to actually guess the correct orientation. So as you can see here. As you can see here on the image, this path is going actually following the slope. So this means that our orientation here is a little bit off. So I'm just going to basically rotate these steps now. So I'm gonna go to the top. So since this is the position, the correct position, our bottom pyramid will be something here, something like this. So this means that the stairs should go, actually they should be rotated 90 degrees here. So what we can do, we can actually use Orient, and we can use basically these 2 points to get these guys in the correct position, like so. So we know that this is the correct path now, and you can see here that we're basically getting that same result. And of course, now we need to draw the this jumping area here for the swimming pool. So I'm gonna basically approximate here the dimensions, and we will actually bring this up. Or actually, we don't need to bring it up yet. First, we're going to actually get the thickness correct. So let's say that this is my thickness, and I'm gonna cap it to get it as a solid there. And of course, now we need to position this correctly, so we have the same kind of areas on both dimensions in both geometries. So first here, I'm just gonna create this cutout here and on the bottom, and then we're going to continue with the rest. So if I isolate this, or actually just these two, and if I go on the side view, I will use this as my guide to actually create this offset. So I'm gonna say duplicate edge here, and I'm gonna say offset, and let's say 0.5 is enough. And I'm gonna go to the wireframe mode to see where this is going. So let's say that I want this line to be somewhere around there, and I'm gonna just copy it below, like so. And then I'm gonna just follow here the path to the pyramid. So I'm going to, let's say, do something like this in the middle. So now we have these these four corners, and let's say that these lines are going to be precisely what I need to create that opening. So I'm gonna do set point, and I'm gonna drag it here in the y direction. And now now you can see here that these will be my lines. So I'm gonna trim them. I'm gonna trim all of this. I'm trimming this in 3D. And I know that now this is gonna be my opening. So I'll just extrude it inward here, and I will basically create this opening. But before doing that, what I can actually do here with this pyramid, I can make it hollow actually. So because this is not a solid, in real life it would be a living space inside, just like here. So the best way to do this is to use offset surface. So I'm gonna do the offset surface, I'm gonna flip it inside, and I'm gonna say that I want this to be solid. Distance would be, let's say, 0.5. And once I click one more time, you will see that I have now double layers there. So once I have this object inside, I'm gonna unhide my extrusion here, and let's go to the shaded mode. Let's cap this, and I'm gonna hide the outer one for now, and let's Boolean union these guys. Let's do merge all faces, and I'm gonna unhide my pyramid, my outer one. So let's do Boolean difference now, this big one and this one that's left, and you will see now here that I actually have the walls inside just as I wanted. So now once we are in that area, we can also rotate our geometry. So for example, here we know that in the image here you can see that we need the opening here on the bottom. So that's what we're gonna do. We're going to use basically this edge. I'm gonna say duplicate edge, and I'm actually going to offset it again, 0.5. Let's go to the shaded mode, wireframe mode, and then let's just guess that somewhere around there will be the ground, something like this. So now what we're gonna do, we're just going to use again the middle point there, and let's assume that this is going to be all right for the opening. So I have these four lines now, which I will use to actually to actually drill the hole again. Let's go to set point, and let's trim all of this out. This will be my extrusion. That's great. I'm gonna join. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say pull. So I'm gonna extrude this now here. But as you may know, actually it's located here. So the best way to actually do it is use the Orient command. I'm gonna say I want from this side to this side, and it's gonna move there, exactly in the position. In addition to that, what we can do is, we can create Boolean difference. And now let's basically cut off this area on the bottom. This will be the position of our floor. So I'm gonna do Boolean. Let's create this as a solid, and then let's do Boolean difference, and this is what we get at the end. So basically this is similar to what we see here. I can see now here that the actual entrance is a little bit smaller, but let's leave it like this for now. And now we have, of course, this area here, which will be the swimming pool, and we have basically the steps and the stairs there. So again, we can do the same kind of principle to create basically the swimming area there. So let's actually do the offset surface on this one as well. Offset surface inward 0.5. We can leave it to be the same. And here I'm going to extrude this surface upward, and let's Boolean union these guys. Let's unhide the previous one, And let's also estimate that this would be here at the bottom, something like this. Let's extrude it. Let's do Boolean difference, like so. And actually we first need to do the Boolean difference from this guy, so let's do it like this, and then we can create Boolean difference from all of this, like so. And of course we don't want our swimming pool to be empty, so you want to have this surface here, like so. Then the next thing would be to actually create a water. And cool trick you can do here is now I'm going to select all of these surfaces and I'm gonna basically bring them upward. And what I can do now, I can basically cap them, and now I will create a material for the water in the array now, and this will basically represent the water, and it will look exactly like here. So that would be how we're gonna create this. And as you can see here, maybe what we can do here, you can lower, for example, these points to actually have a little bit of inclination inward. So I'm gonna just bring it down slightly, like so, and you can see that I'm getting some nice cool effects there. And let's bring this up, this jumping area. And now for the final one, we actually want to create this surface as a little bit more advanced surface. So what we can do here is, let's say that we want to convert this first to T-splines, and once we have it as T-splines, what we can do is we can actually play around with it and create more details. So I'm gonna select these edges here. I'm gonna say select the loop. Actually, let's go like this. Let's hide everything else that we don't need. So I'm gonna type select curve. I'm gonna hide everything, and I'm just gonna leave it with this. And I'm going to lock this geometry so that I don't mess around with it. I just want to manipulate my ground here. So I will add some additional edges here, so that I can have a better control of my T-splines. So of course I want to turn off the creases, so I want to remove them, and let's add another edge here, like so. So I'm gonna go, this is the box mode, this is the soft mode. So right now I'm just going to play around here with my T-splines, and I'm going to try to get the best results here. And of course sometimes it requires some time to get the geometry exactly as you would want it. So I'll speed up the video here, and then I'll show you how we actually changed at the end the ground planes. Alright, so once I'm happy with how my terrain looks like, now I'm going to unhide my lines here for the stairs and for the steps, and here I will actually create a duplicate. I'm gonna copy this surface in its place so that we can come back to it if we need. So I'm gonna change the layer, and I'm gonna hide that layer. And this guy I'm going to convert actually to the Rhino geometry. And once I have this converted, I can actually now bring these guys up. And before doing that, of course, I can create this as a solid if I want. The best way to do this is just like extruding it downward, and I can actually cut it like so to actually get this as a ground. So I can use it to present it if I want for the diagrams or whatever I want. So I now have this as my terrain, and I will use some kind of image like this or the angle like this to show the project. And here what we can do now is we can basically just do the project command, and this will actually glue the stairs to my surface. But in this case I can see that actually this guys needs to go a little bit more closer here to the edge. I can basically do the extrusion now to actually get the correct position, and I think this is all right. So I'm going to do project, place it on the bottom, and you can see now that it placed it on both surfaces. So I just need it here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to say split, and I'm going to split the surface with these guys that we just created, and I'm going to hide it for now. I'm going to take them and I'm going to extrude them slightly upward so that we get them in the correct position. And I'm going to do select all curves, I'm going to hide it, and I'm going to unlock, of course, the geometry, hide this, and this would be our model. And this is the final rendering. If you like this kind of tutorials, please feel free to share and like them. This will support my work, and I will continue to create these free tutorials. Sometime in the near future, I'll be creating also a Patreon page where you will be able to actually access all of these files and images. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.